Hello everybody, welcome back to the Horror Vault. Today it's a tag video I'm going to do. This tag was created by a YouTuber called TheHORROman. I will leave a link down below to his channel for you obviously to check out, see what other videos he do, and if you want to subscribe to his channel, great. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, make sure you subscribe to this one too. But this is the slasher tag created by TheHORROman. There's 8 questions. So I will get on and do it. So first question 1 is, what is your favourite standalone slasher film? I've spoken about this film before in some previous videos, I'm sure, but it's a film from 1987. It's also known as a Robicide, but it is killer workout. Such an 80s film. Even if you haven't seen any 80s films and you knew the sort of stuff that would be in an 80s environment, you'd look at this film and go, yeah, that's 80s. Down to the hair, the music, the style it's shot, everything. It's a fantastic movie. I think this is one that what people should talk about more. It's a really good film. It's probably one of the first slash films outside of, like, you know, the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, those sort of films. Probably the first one out of those sort of slasher films that I've seen. So this one stands close to my heart. This film, what does work out? Question 2 is, what is your favourite slasher mask look? Well, I'm gonna have to turn to my little favourite guy here. So, of course, it's Jason Voorhees, the masked version of Jason Voorhees. Doesn't matter which mask it is, because of course they do variously change through each Friday the 13th film. I just like the look of the mask. It's the hockey mask look, and this big intimidating guy coming towards you and you can't see his face. You know, it's going to be terrifying. But that's my favourite slasher mask look. I mean, I wouldn't really classify sort of things like Scream. I know it's a mask and it is a look, but I wouldn't really say it was terrifying myself, but that's just me. But intimidating wise, it would be, for me, Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th films. A close second would be Michael Myers from the Halloween films. So yeah, that's my answers. Question 3 is, what is your favourite slasher movie kill? I was racking my brain with this one because there's loads of slasher movie kills which I think's either really well done or unique to either that franchise or that film, or just stick in your mind. So I was going through all of them, and the one that stuck in my head was from Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, from 1988, I believe. So yeah, Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood. I'm sure if you've seen this, you probably know which death I'm going to go with, but it is the scene where Judy's in a sleeping bag inside a tent, and Jason pulls her out and sort of ties at the end of the sleeping bag and just wraps her across the tree. Only once. That's it. That's the end of it. It's you know, quite simplistic death, but it's a death that, if you've gone camping, people would be slightly terrified of the fact that somebody could grab you out of your tent in the middle of the night and do all sorts of weird and wonderful things to you. I did read somewhere that apparently that scene was shot with Jason hitting the tree several times with Judy's body in the sleeping bag. But for me, I think more impact is just being that once, because it shows you how much strength he has in him to just take somebody across a tree, and that's it, kill them straight like that. I said there's loads of other deaths in slasher films, but for me it's the one from here which I always think, it doesn't have to be brutal, it doesn't have to be, you know, garish and in your face kind of thing. It could be something as simplistic as being trapped in something and hit something. That's it. That's what that one is. That's my favourite slasher movie kill. It was Friday the 13th Part 7, New Blood. Question 4 is, what is your favourite slasher movie setting? If you haven't guessed already, I'm a Friday the 13th film fan. So, unsurprisingly then, going by that, I am going to go with Camp Crystal Lake. So I just like the whole setting of it, because you can use the woods, you can use the camp itself, you can just use the cabins, you can use the lake. There's loads of different options you could use, but Camp Crystal Lake is the one that I always like. I mean, any slasher film that involves somebody stalking somebody through the woods or for a mountain or something like that always works. In a building, yeah, that works as well, but as long as it has sort of many levels. I think if it's just like a two-tier house, yeah, slasher, there's only so many rooms the killer could go into, but of course they still work. But for me, it's Camp Crystal Lake in the Friday the 13th films. On to question 5. Who is your favourite final girl in a slasher movie? Back to the Friday the 13th, well, I'm afraid, but it's Ginny? Was it Ginny? Yeah, Ginny Field from Friday the 13th Part 2, played by Amy Steele. Just a great character, you know, quite strong, dependent, and she brings it to Jason in this film if you haven't seen it. But I won't tell you too much if you haven't seen it, but she's the favourite final girl, but as you probably can tell by the title of the question, she survives. So, Friday the 13th Part 2, it is Ginny Field, played by Amy Steele. I think it's a great film, so check that one out. Next question was, what, in your opinion, is the most overrated slasher film? I could have went with any, I know, but I stand down knowing fully well that this answer will probably get a bit of rap, but for me, the most overrated slasher film is from 1996, and it is Wes Craven's Scream. I know it sort of, you know, it kicked off, you know, was it 4 films, and it had a TV series, and, you know, kickstarted quite a few different people's careers in the right direction, and made horror sort of more of a focus into the cinemas again. They realised that they could do stuff and bring it to the cinema. But for me, I just think it's an overrated slasher film, because a lot of the ideas involved in that film, they were sort of done in the 80s and the very, very early 90s. So for me, it's not really anything special. I get that if it's your first ever slasher film that you've probably seen, you'd probably think, wow, this is special, unique and everything. But for me, I've seen quite a few slasher films leading up to it by then, so it doesn't really do anything for me, I'm afraid. But it's my most overrated slasher film. And on to question 7 is, what in your opinion is an underrated slasher film? It's another good question, because again, you can pick any, and there's loads. Of course, you've got the franchise ones, so you could pick any from that. I'd say to head to the 70s. You could argue if it's a slasher film or not. I'd say it's a slasher film, slasher type, trapped in the woods type movie, stalking from the woods type movie. It's from 1979, and it's Tourist Trap. Creepy movie, very creepy. If you not into dolls, not a big fan of dolls, then you'd find it very, very creepy. But I think Chuck Connors, as the main guy who runs this sort of off the track wax museum type thing, plays it really creepily. You know, he seems like quite a kind gentleman, but he's very sinister as well. And if you know him from his previous work and then seeing him in this, you're like, whoa, where did that come from? But great casting. I think it's a really good film. Great soundtrack for it. Tourist Trap, 1979, my most underrated slasher movie. And on to the final question, which was, what is your favourite gratuitous scene in a slasher movie? I think we all know, and if you've seen slasher films, that they can be quite gratuitous, no matter what, in whatever way you want to look towards it. But for me, the scene in Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984 is the scene with Leonard Quigley's character. She's pretty sure she's just in her underwear, and then the killer comes in and just grabs her and just pins her up onto the wall and sticks her on these antlers. She's bare-chested, and get stuck onto these antlers. Just completely uncalled for. There's no reason for it. He just goes in there and does it. But then, of course, we all know the rules of what not to do in a slasher film, and she wasn't following those rules. So, but yeah, that's my favourite gratuitous scene in a slasher movie, because it's just one of them. Just the whole imagery of it as well, kind of like the mantelpiece, and then there's Lena Quigley's body with the antlers sticking through and everything. I just think it works. But yeah, that is my 8 answers to the 8 questions of this slasher movie tag that was created by TheHORROman. I'm not going to tag anybody specifically for this, so if you want to do the tag, I'm going to tag everybody in the horror community or just the YouTube community. If you want to do the this slasher tag, feel free. I tag you. Of course, let me know in the comments down below if you do the video, and I will check it out. Let me know your answers. If you don't do the videos, let me know what your most overrated slasher film is, or your underrated slasher film is, and I will check them out. So yeah, give this video a like if you liked it. Leave comments down below, as I mentioned. Give this a subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and thanks for watching this video. Bye for now.